Yes, y'all. Welcome in to episode 96 of the Dumb Marks podcast. Woo, creeping up on them triple digits.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting there, boys. Gentlemen, how we doing? How we living? We good?
Yep, good. Doing good.
Hey, you're here. Hey, thanks for tuning in to your favorite Saturday brunch bunch. The best four-man booth in the business. Back at it again, although we are currently a trio. Chris is having internet problems, and we'll see whenever he's able to get online here. So yeah, what's good? Everybody good? Jay, I feel like you just woke up.
Nah, it's just hot.
Hot. Yeah.
This is my miserable
No,
face. It's hot.
94 with humidity, man.
I'm gonna have to take the hat off today, man. If I show my head, that's when it's hot.
When you take the hat off, yeah. You got the sweat rag going. That's how you know it's hot. You got the little sweat rag on the hip.
It's never hot in here. Like my place is generally cold, so this is not feeling it.
So I'm fresh off vacation. Was gone all week. Came back yesterday. I'm currently on very little to no sleep, not because I was partying all week long, but because the bed and the couch in the place that we stayed at was probably the most uncomfortable bed and couch I've ever tried to sleep on in my life. So it was just not a good week for sleeping for me. So
were you on the pull out?
No. We had a big house. You know what I mean? 5-bedroom, family and the kids all went. What's up, Kenny?
What's up?
So yeah, I mean, we had, everybody had that room. The boys were on a pull-out couch and some air mattresses in the living room because they all wanted to hang out and be together, which was cool. But as the adults and everything, we all had our own separate rooms and everything was cool. It was just, it was terrible. Like, yeah. So, but hey, it is what it is, right? I can tell you one thing: nothing feels as good as sleeping in your own bed.
Yes,
that's like up there on the list of top things that you don't realize until you are away from home. Not too many things that are better on that list than getting a night's sleep in your own bed.
Your mother's bed.
I mean, I could have went there with so many jokes right there.
Could have.
I'm like, no, I'm coming on vacation. I'm happy and peaceful. Like we're not gonna go at it just yet, right? Like we're gonna get into the show and we'll see where that goes. It's gonna be a lot of me following today. Yeah,
Well, not your mother.
Yeah, no, your
own mother's bed.
Yeah, your mother.
No, your mama joke.
Yeah, so I was absolutely no doubt. So yeah, so I was, like I said, I was away all week with the fam. I was able to catch some stuff on Twitter here and there, but for the most part, I didn't watch anything until last night as far as wrestling goes. Definitely kept tabs of the news of the day, so to speak, and we'll get into that in bell to bell. But as far as the intro goes, a lot of stuff happening. I know we had some Comic-Con stuff, some gaming news. So, Donald, why don't you kick us off and get us into the shits and giggles, and we'll get rolling here.
All right. Biggest story in gaming is Naughty Dog. They had leaks again on their video game. So, The Last of Us 1 remake, all kind of stuff leaked out for it. And the biggest thing is they showed a video of the game and they put it side by side with the remastered game that came out for PS4. And when they first announced the game, they said that they were going to do a lot of stuff different with it, implement the mechanic system from Last of Us 2. They did absolutely nothing. It was just basically a new port that is going. So it's a new port going up to PS5 with just like some. I mean, the graphics do look good, but they're nothing like, mind blowing to it. So you're paying $70 for the same game.
It's like the side by side of the Disney movies where you see like the scene from the Jungle Book and then you see a scene from like Toy Story and they're the exact same but just different characters.
Yes.
It's like, oh, my childhood was a lie this entire time. Disney's been retelling the same damn story 900 times and we're eating it up talking about instant classics.
So they did. Yeah, they had about 10 scenes like side by side, like throughout the like portions of the game. And I mean, you can see like some graphical differences to it, but everything is the same. Mechanics is the same. Everything's the same. It is the ultimate cash grab, and gamers are going hard at Naughty Dog for it.
What were you expecting? What were you expecting? Has Nintendo not showed you?
And they said, man, for all of this, man, they could have put their time to like making a new IP or like making The Last of Us 3 or something like that, then bringing out a whole basically port of a game. So that was the biggest thing there in gaming.
I saw the Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection pre-orders are going on now. You can get in and grab them, and that drops August. I believe 30th. The end of August 30th.
August 30th.
Right?
August 30th. Yep.
Yeah, August 30th. Saw some gameplay, and I'm gonna get it.
It's a must.
It is, especially after playing Shredder's Revenge. Like, I was gonna buy it just because of how much I enjoy Shredder's Revenge and getting back into it full time and actually playing a game consistently. And just watching that, I'm like, I think it's like $40, maybe $40-$50. I think.
I think so.
Yeah. So
I think it was $39.
I'm gonna get on that, but you need to get it sooner rather than later because it's starting to go. With pre-orders, so you might be SOL and not be able to get a copy.
And they also, I saw that Shredder's Revenge is actually coming out on the physical copy of a disc too. And I think that's September 27th.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people were clamoring for it just to have it as far as a collectible, so to speak, and holding on to the disc copy. I'll grab that when it's out just to have it on the shelf.
I think I might do that too because you never know when they're gonna shut the servers down.
Yeah. Not only that, but just to hold on to it because of how good it's been. You never know later on down the road, an unopened copy of that may be worth something at some point. That's all. I didn't really, like I said, I didn't catch much gaming front stuff. I know that kicked over, and then a couple entertainment things I have, but I know the big hoopla. Yesterday was it yesterday or Thursday? Comic-Con, San Diego.
It started yesterday.
Mm-hmm. A lot of stuff with Marvel. Obviously, they released some images, gave some titles, and then there was some stuff that leaked online as far as trademarks that were filed in the UK for some titles, so to speak, for upcoming either shows or movies from Marvel. And I'm trying to see where's that at. All right. So as far as what was trademarked in Europe and whether or not this sticks or whatnot, but we have Avengers Secret Wars, which we knew Secret Wars was coming. Avengers The Kang Dynasty, Captain America New World Order, and I saw Eric Bischoff go off about that as far as gimmick infringement in a lawsuit from Jerry McDivitt to be filed against Disney, so to speak, right away.
I don't think he has room to talk because New World Order was the bad guys in Revolution X video game that came out in '93. So
we have the Multiverse Saga and Thunderbolts. So a lot of stuff from the Marvel front between that and then, like I said, what was announced at Comic-Con so far with the Mutants 97. Saw the poster with who was all going to be in it. Looks just like it did when the cartoon first came out. So I'm super pumped for that.
What is the Nicolas Cage movie? National Treasure TV series on Disney Plus. I'm sure Chris will be happy.
I was clamoring for a movie for that, but I remember a movie. But
I'll take it serious.
Yeah, I'll take it serious.
They had What If Season 2. See, I don't. The boys is on Prime, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I don't have Prime, and I know that everybody loves that show right now. Like, but I can't justify spending money on Prime when that's the only thing that's on Prime.
Ooh, man.
See, now we're going. This is not the right show for that. We're going to get into all that, but that's an interesting take right there. And then a couple other quick entertainment things that I saw. Christina Ricci was cast as Harley Quinn in the new Harley Quinn and the Joker Spotify podcast series. So not sure
what that is.
What that's going to be like. I just found it caught my eye because it said podcast series. So I'm going to look into it some more to see how that's going to play out. I don't know if it's like going to be like an audio book that they're going to do a series on. Like,
it'll be interesting. It might, what comes to my mind is whenever she was a psychiatrist trying to, rehab Joker. So that'll be interesting if it's like, audio like that.
So it says it's hot on the heels of Batman Unburied Success and Renewal. Spotify announced new details about the upcoming original scripted podcast, Harley Quinn and the Joker, Sound Mind. Created in partnership with Warner Brothers and DC, the series is written by Eli Horowitz and tells a brand new story from the perspective of some of DC's most iconic villains. So it looks like we're going to get some villain input here. Nice to have their side of the story be told, not just the good guys spouting off their stuff. So that's what they did say it was scripted. So I'm interested to catch it and see what it's like.
So it's going to be like radio back in the days.
Mm-hmm.
You just
like
your imagination.
Mm-hmm.
Like Christmas Story, you turn in for Little Orphan Annie, you sit there with your decoder pan, drink your Ovaltine.
If they did it by her files whenever she was, before she turned a truly Harley Quinn.
Yeah, that'd be
like doing psychiatrist stuff with them, like laying down and telling their stories. That would definitely be interesting. That's a different take on a lot of stuff.
I know. So and that's right. We wondering where podcast is going to go, right? Like how's it gonna progress? How can you separate yourself and be different from everybody else, right?
Definitely War of the Worlds, yeah.
So this is brand new and something that I'm looking to get into. Not sure if people or there's other ones that are out there already doing this sort of thing in the podcasting space, but it'll be interesting to see how the big entertainment companies, right, how they try to get a slice of the podcasting pie and seeing if this will actually work as far as a medium goes for people to draw an audience.
They do have those things like Suspect Files, but I'm not sure if those are like real life stories or if they're just scripted like
the criminal stuff. Yeah.
And then the other thing I saw, and this is for more of your PC gamers, but I saw a trailer for Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves movie. So if you're a D&D fan, go check that out. I know my son is heavy into D&D, so I never got into it, but not saying that I won't tune in for it. But yeah, those are the two big things that I caught my eye as far as entertainment goes this week. Hey, there he is. Look at that. Pay your damn Wi-Fi bill. Yeah,
I feel like JR getting the special entrance at the second hour of Dynamite each week now.
Well, you had no pop. You got booed. And no senior. So you were basically the opposite of JR's entrance at the 9 o'clock hour.
Always. I don't know. I think last week power went out a couple times in a row, kept flickering on and off, and I think it did something to my cable modem because it's been messed up all week. Something to do this week.
Were you able to hear anything that we covered so far? All right, well, tune in, watch the first 15 minutes on replay, and get caught up.
I'm trying this shit, so.
You got anything you want to cover intro wise? We talked about gaming. Went over some Comic-Con stuff. Good. All right. So, all right, then let's go. Let's get into it right now. Bell to bell. All right, so obviously today's the big day. We got Ring of Honor. We'll get into our predictions for that and break down that card and go in depth. As far as there it is. That's the most cheers he's gotten in years. So yeah, we'll cover that on the back end of this segment and go in depth and break everything down for tonight's card. But obviously the big news that came out yesterday, the retirement that is Vincent Kennedy McMahon from WWE. I tweeted out there's no such thing as retirement in wrestling. See example Flair and Funk. Those two are scheduled to face each other again in a couple weeks. Yeah, those two are expected to wrestle each other again in a couple weeks on Ric Flair's last tour around the country. So, but no, Vince.
It's your fault for kayfabe news.
Yeah, it is. But it's always fun to play into it, right? Like,
it is.
Yeah.
And with Flair and Funk, you never know. Those two really might strap it back up and go at it one more time. No, but with Vince, I was debating this last night as I watched SmackDown. And I watched SmackDown after it aired because I was doing stuff after getting back from vacation. It's like, it's such a weird space right now because you have this man that created this genre that so many people have fallen in love with over the last, 30, 40 years.
1982.
And based off of where we're at right now and what's happened, which has led to the retirement, like can you fully get on board with the thank you, Vince, and respect what the man has done? Like, can you separate the two? Or is it just, for me, it was so weird last night having Stephanie come out. They do the little intro, her talking, the crowd's chanting thank you, Vince, and going into it and everything else. And I'm just watching it and I don't know how to feel. Like, it was just weird. I'm like, I don't know if this is the right time and place to be thanking Vince for all his contributions, giving everything surrounding the climate that is 2022. So
me is let him ride out in the sunset right now, and then maybe like WrestleMania time after things calm down, maybe do your thank you Vince shit there. Give it a chance to breathe before you do it, because like she came out last night and I didn't like that she did that, and I'm hoping she starts off Raw on Monday too, but I don't want to see any more thank you Vince. I just want her to start it off and do her thing and then move on.
It's just what up?
How's it going?
Yeah, it's just like I said, it's weird, and I don't know how to really.
It was weird when he came out a couple weeks ago after the whole thing started too.
A little bit.
Well, I mean, you could expect that from him because in his eyes, no PR is bad PR. So he's gonna, regardless of the situation. I mean, if the steroid trial happened today, I'm sure he'd come out and be on screen, like
cut off shirt and everything.
Yeah. With I Grow Pro tank top on. Like,
but that's also different ego, I think, too. Like his ego's grown so much over the years compared to then, where he just stepped away from everything completely. That's whenever he kind of let Linda run the company, and he wasn't involved in anything while that went on. Wasn't on TV, didn't do anything. Now it's like
it was also different back then because they were private versus a public company, so they couldn't, like, that could have really ended the company. Like, they could have went after everything there too. So yeah, it just I don't know. It's a weird space WWE is in right now. We got some announcements, co-CEOs named, and title changes for Triple H. He's back serving as whatever his old new title is again. I don't know. There's so much going on in that space right now.
Yeah.
So,
and the big thing, and I brought this up in our conversation, was they didn't give, like, is this effective immediately for some of the stuff, or is this, is there going to be a transition period here at all?
No, I mean, as of from everything I gathered yesterday, it was as of retirement yesterday. It's new co-CEOs and whoever else's title change name wise goes into effect and how that plays out.
Kind of to your point, Steve, of retirements in wrestling, it's like the man owns like 85% of the Class B stock of the company. Yeah, he's retiring, but he's also not going anywhere at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like how much change is really going to take place here?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like he might not have any, input on the day-to-day goings on, but if there's any big deals, they're going to be consulting him on some stuff.
And he still might have to pen behind the scenes too.
Then I saw some other things with, basically Laurinaitis is done. They haven't made it official, but he's done.
Yeah.
Good.
Kevin Dunn is rumored to be done. And after the camera cuts he pulled last night on fucking SmackDown, he needs to be done. Oh my God. So like that was worse than being on like the Musical Express at a fairgrounds. Like that was just god awful last night, the way he butchered those camera shots. But I don't know. It's weird.
I'm okay with all them being gone.
It's weird, but yeah, it's okay.
So, all right. So
is Pritchard head of creative now?
Well, here's where here's the question that I wanted to go into it and get your guys' thoughts on it. Because that's a pro wrestling T-shirt if I ever saw one. No, but here's the what?
Did you crack a beer? What? Did you crack a beer?
No. Coffee. You missed the intro. I haven't slept all week, so no, but here's where I wanted to go with it, just as a fantasy moving forward booking type question. Triple H got all the love for years in NXT, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, everybody loved what they did in NXT better than what the main roster was doing for those years. Head to head, they come out the gates with AEW. Doesn't go well. Then we get into the snowball effect and where we're at now. And now Triple H doesn't have a head creative role, so to speak, yet. But if he's put back in power and he takes over creative for the main roster, one, is that what's best for business from WWE? And two, does that cause bigger problems for AEW?
Yes and yes. I think the talent on the roster respects Triple H of what he does and everything, and talent in other promotions respect him too, and they will gladly go to WWE to work for him.
And isn't he the one that's always been in relationships
with everybody? Mm-hmm.
Hey, Donald, you hit it right on the head. That's where I wanted to go with it. All these people that left, and I'm thinking more, not so much your Danielsons and your Punks, because especially Punk with that relationship in history, he has ways. But your O'Reillys, your Fishes, your Coles, Gargano, wherever he lands up, like those talents, when those contracts are up, if Hunter's head creative, and not saying that those guys going back to WWE will give them the advantage over AEW, but you can see a lot more people going back than what you thought moving forward with Vince still at the helm on the main roster.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put him like right away head of creative. I let him keep doing the talent relations until then.
I think the whole question with it is how healthy is he? Like how much stress do they want to give him? Talent. If you like, especially JR in his books and on his podcast, he talks about how stressful a job talent relations is. That's like a 24/7 job. And are you really going to give Triple H handle talent relations and all three brands of creative at the same time. But I'd rather see Triple H run creative than talent relations.
Mhm.
You know, I'm okay with him running talent relations and the NIL stuff, but I'd rather see him do creative. But I guess it's also how much travel does he want to do? So
Yeah, I mean, the health is the biggest thing, as we know. Like, if we're talking Bruce Pritchard and those guys being head of creative versus AEW and other promotions, New Japan, Impact, creatively, right? I'm just talking about the people that are handling creative. I would much rather have Triple H in that spot than Bruce. And I think Bruce is very low on the totem pole now and today in 2022 versus those other people in creative. Whether it's, you know, Scott D'Amore in Impact, whoever's booking New Japan, like,
I don't want to see Mox return.
We don't need the late 80s, early 90s, brother again.
You're already getting it.
Yeah, you're already getting it. Don't need that again.
I do think it is a problem. That it could be a problem. I'm not saying it will be a problem, but it could possibly be a problem for AEW. You have WWE has that chance right now to change things, and if they could either start, you know, creating the new era of WWE with a whole new group, or they can go business as usual. Those are pretty much their two choices right now. We'll see how they go. If they really want to affect, you know, AEW, this is the time to do it.
I think for them right now, given everything that's gone on, this is a pivot to steal from the Pivot podcast, as Fred Taylor, Ryan Clark like to say. But this is another pivot point in their company, like they did a la when Hogan and those guys left, and you went to Brett and Sean, and you turned the page and went in a different direction, and switched up, you know, versus the 6'8", 240, you know, 265 pounders. That led into Hart, you know, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold, all out, you know, down the line. That's the only way I can see it being positive. They have to change it. They're forced to change now. They were riding consistency coattails forever. AEW comes along, they still felt complacent in the fact that, hey, we have our audience built in for all these years. We don't really need to do anything different. They're not real competition, yada, yada, yada. And now you should take this as a wake-up call to make changes and go in a different direction.
Because you're going to have the eyes. There's going to be people that probably tuned in last night that haven't tuned in for a while just to see what was said. You're going to have more eyes on Monday night for the same reason. People that might not have heard about this until over the weekend. And it also being in MSG on Monday. So it's like, I think the eyes are going to be there. You're not going to make the changes overnight. We all know that. You can't just flip the switch and shit changes. But, you know, long term, you know, hopefully we see some things change over the coming months.
And with it being SummerSlam week 2, people's going to see, people's going to watch. The casual viewer might, you know, pop back in because it's their second biggest pay-per-view. So,
yeah, we'll break down SummerSlam in depth next week. Because I got a lot of thoughts on the card and where stuff's at and where it's going, but we don't need to go. Well, what type of chicken first off? Because you know, baked chicken, fried chicken. Yeah, you got the criteria. You can't, and then pizza rolls. We talking Totino's. What do we? You know, pizza rolls versus bagel bites. Like, where are we going here? There's a slew of scenarios.
Hey, look, I'm all about quick and easy. Get in, get out. Pizza rolls.
There was a "that's what she said" joke. Pause right there. Again, letting that go. So WWE wise, I mean, that was obviously the big news. The only thing I caught this week was SmackDown, but I watched it after it went off air. Some stuff I liked, some stuff I didn't like, but from your perspective, anything you guys want to get into from the E before we jump to some other smaller wrestling news?
Everybody got swerved yesterday. Brock Lesnar.
Work.
The dirt sheets came in. We're just like, oh, I didn't even see the dirt sheets. Bleacher Report's the one that I got right away. I got an update from that. Brock Lesnar's walked out of SmackDown. I was
so you got some news.
I was like,
some official sources.
Yeah.
So
and then it seemed like hours later, dirt sheets were picking it up.
Well, and from everything that was reported, because people were burying Alvarez and a couple other, bigger name people in the space, trying to say that they were inaccurate in their reporting and just putting stuff out there and yada, yada, yada. And they all doubled down on their reporting and said, no, listen, like, he did leave. So what we reported at the time when we reported it was correct. He left. They pulled him from advertising and everything else. Like, there was enough time in the day for it to evolve to where he comes back and they not be in the know. Now, I find it hard to believe that those guys with those sources supposedly didn't or weren't able to be told or weren't able to figure out that he was brought back and would be on the show. Now, WWE put out a release themselves, I believe, saying that that was fake as well.
Yeah, that was fake.
See, this is what happens when you go on vacation. You just don't, you know what I mean? Like, all right.
Yeah, someone just like updated the Sasha Banks one that they did and just put it as Brock Lesnar.
Well, that's where it was going as far as would they say anything? How would they?
Exactly.
Yeah. Look, all I'm going to say about is this, and I'm going to steal this from Pat McAfee because he says it all the time, but it's absolutely 100% true. Be who you can afford to be. There's levels to everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
If Brock Lesnar wants to take his ball and leave and go home, Brock Lesnar will take his ball and leave and go home. They're not going to come on air and say he's unprofessional and everything else. Stone Cold took his ball and went home. Same deal. Stone Cold. Be who you can afford to be.
Yeah, but they went on and they roasted his ass.
Brock was never going to get the Naomi and Sasha treatment. Period. It wasn't going to happen. It's just like your starting quarterback, or Jimmy Johnson used to say this all the time about Emmitt Smith in the Cowboys locker room. Emmitt Smith would go in the meetings and he'd fall asleep and take a nap. And then somebody else fell asleep and he got cut and wasn't there the next day. And reporters found out and they asked him, well, how come you cut this guy but you haven't disciplined Emmitt Smith? And he goes, well, he's Emmitt Smith. It's that simple. Be who you can afford to be. If you're that guy on that level and you have that stroke and that criteria, and if you want to leave, have at it. But it's not going to be the same for everybody. So I don't understand what the uproar was about people, bashing them for not coming out and making statements and burying Brock the same way they did Sasha and Naomi. And I'm not even jumping into the whole black-white thing of the argument that people got into. I'm just strictly talking from a talent perspective as far as superstars, and there's a pecking order for a reason.
Yeah, but to me, if they buried Stone Cold over it, why wouldn't they bury Brock? Is Brock really bigger than Stone Cold at that time?
Well, who's to say when they got a word he's coming back?
Yeah,
because if it was before the show happened, that just
it probably was.
Yeah.
It happened before the show, hours and hours and hours before the show, and he came back.
Probably took 10 minutes to cool off, came back, sent him back.
Well. And he was only there for what, a 4-minute segment?
Yeah.
At the end.
I mean, who knows if this? Yeah, maybe cooler heads prevailed and everything's cool now. No issues. Or maybe they just got him to do business and be like, hey, SummerSlam's next week. Let's get through this and we'll move on from there or whatever.
You know what my mind immediately went to? Now that's a good topic to debate.
Yeah, it is.
I think that's definitely personal opinion, but
my mind immediately when I saw the news, him leaving, and Vince is gone. I'm on
this, I believe, yes.
Oh yeah.
My mind immediately went to this is so wrong for me thinking this way, but it was, Vince retired, Brock leaves because Vince is gone. Vince will come back as Brock's manager. And be a pure on-screen talent.
I'd love it.
And it's just like it was. Hey, I'm not CEO no more. I'm on-screen talent. This is my role. I'm an on-screen manager. Mm-hmm. This is my role.
And people would eat that up for about.
Oh, they would. Oh, they will.
Would have nuts. Obviously, you can't do that with Brock because he's a babyface now, so it wouldn't have worked. But immediately, I'm thinking, this is the way for Vince to still be around nonstop. He's just gonna walk out with Lesnar. Now he won't even have to walk all the way down in the ring. He just have the music hit. He comes out, and then the Beast comes out after him. He gives him a look, and he goes down and destroys people. Like that. That's all that would have needed to be done. But yeah, that's where my mind immediately went with that yesterday. So, all right. Some other news, company-wise. NWA had an interesting week.
Yeah.
Willie Corgan was on Busted Open and pulled Nick Aldis from the main event. Inserted Tyrus for the heavyweight championship match against Trevor Murdoch. And then all of this went on to Twitter and, went out there and said, hey, Busted Open, are you going to let me get a chance to come on and explain my side of things?
That's exactly how it was, Kenny, I'm sure.
And he has milked that sugar daddy for
years.
He has.
Oh, man. But yeah, so all this NWA pulled, yanked, gone. He's blocking people on Twitter. I didn't catch the Busted Open segment with Billy on. I know I read a little bit of the transcript.
I just read the transcript too.
Talking about the politicking he does on screen is 10 times worse backstage and everything else. And he had enough of it and decided to pull him. I don't know if it's a work shoot. Quite frankly, I don't care. I'm interested as hell in this story right now. So,
I'm interested in the story more than I am in the event.
But it's a way to garner eyes and get people's attention. So,
I can't say that even because they had announced, Trevor Murdoch versus Nick Aldis for the title. I was like, okay, we've seen that. I'm not a Trevor Murdoch fan, so it doesn't make me want to watch that match to begin with. And they changed it to Tyrus. I was like, okay, I'm definitely not watching that. So it's like I'm not going to watch the event, but I will follow it to see what continues on, and maybe whatever match comes out of this for the next event, because I'm sure at some point there'll be a big blow off for it.
Are they having like an MJF situation over there?
I don't know, because it hasn't, for me at least, what Billy did on Busted Open, that completely came out of left field, right? There was no rumblings, no rumor, no innuendo, nothing leading into it. And then he just got on yesterday, or not yesterday, but was on this week and just kind of took it and ran with it for whatever reason. All this is
they had to sell tickets somehow.
Well, he is their guy. He's their, you know what I mean? He's their attraction. He's their star. I would love to see him on a bigger platform just because he's never had that opportunity. I'm a Nick Aldis guy. I like what he does. But like you said, the story is interesting. Am I going to buy the pay-per-view because I want to see Tyrus versus Trevor? No, although I love what Trevor's done in the NWA since he came over. Completely revitalized his career.
Where would you like to see Aldis go?
In NWA. He just staying there.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like he was in the perfect spot in Impact for him. NWA, I think, is a good fit for him. I don't know if I could see him in an AEW or WWE.
I would put him in ROH.
I don't know.
Let him and Silas Young fight forever.
Him and who?
Silas Young.
Silas Young better not get signed to Ring of Honor again.
I made that. Yeah, I would put all this in ROH. Like if you're looking to round out ROH, you need a combination of names, which they have based off of the guys that are in AEW currently that have ties to ROH. They've signed some of the talent that was in ROH before they went under, but you still got to build that roster out. And for me, he's the perfect guy that would fit the mold and the vision based off of what's being presented for ROH right now. And it's a step up. Now you can argue that step up, but I figure once TV deal and streaming is announced, and Tony Khan touched on that a little bit, it would be a step up in a bigger platform.
I don't know. I think I'd rather see Ring of Honor. Yeah, he would be a guy that could help establish stars, but I don't know. I'd rather see the younger stars be the attraction down there, and not.
But you have to have stars to make stars.
You do. But I'd rather see
that's why Jericho was the first guy.
Yeah.
Now you can argue Omega was a star, but I mean you have to.
Jericho ain't making stars, man.
We'll get to that.
Jericho's not making stars.
Jericho's not making stars, man.
Well, all right. Since we brought it up, anything else? Anything else with the NWA situation? Going to follow along? Does it have your interest?
Yeah.
He said with all this, I could see him at New Japan. He could come over and be like, I'm the American hero. I'm going to put some dignity back to your belts. Give somebody else.
For a second, but
he's not American.
Oh, that is right. He can play. He can play the part. It's like Sabu playing the Syrian.
But no, yeah, I could see New Japan being a fit for him.
Mm-hmm.
They won't put up with his shit if there really is shit that he's given in NWA.
Kota
That's
Ibushi?
legit not a work. They wouldn't put up with that.
Ever heard of Kota Ibushi? Yeah.
I mean, never say never in wrestling, and I wouldn't say that this isn't a shoot story. But
Freddie Prinze thing, that could be interesting too.
And we haven't heard nothing else about that since Freddie tweeted out that
he wants to do it.
He has a year-long TV show ready to go.
Yes,
he's looking for finances.
I see him more on Rivals.
Christina could be Japanese.
Yo, at what age did you realize Yokozuna was not Japanese?
30s,
like
2 years ago,
like mid 2000s.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say probably at least early. I think when Rikishi started talking, like whenever he was coming out doing that Too Cool gimmick, he would talk about like his family and just like, wait, what?
Chris told me, and that was in this basement a few years ago.
I'm sure there were some people that didn't realize that until they watched the Legends doc that came out 2 years ago on WWE.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
I'll never forget whenever I found out about Sabu. I was so pissed with that one. From Bombay, Michigan, my ass.
Tremendous. All right, so Donna, let's get into AEW, and then we'll get into the ROH card. Again, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch Dynamite at all.
No.
I saw the just evisceration of the main event and how bad and horrible it came off. And it's, the end of a 6-7 month feud that just completely fell flat on its face. You guys watched it. Break it down to me and explain it to me, and then I'll give my bird's eye view of what I think happened.
I don't even think the feud's over.
I don't think so either. After the end of the match, the shit that happened afterward, I think they're going to continue on.
So I didn't realize it was a barbed wire match. So I already went in disgusted when I seen the barbed wire.
It
was barbed wire everywhere.
Yeah, I don't pay that much attention. I seen Shark Cage.
I can tell.
And that's all I see. Shark Cage. I want to see it. Okay. Tell me.
Justin Roberts' microphone was wrapped in barbed wire.
And I was like, this is gonna be rough on the watch. I'm not a barbed wire extreme fan anymore. So
no, because they do it too much.
So what I got from out of it was I saw I don't even know if it was the end sequence or what, but it was Sammy and Eddie and Jericho in the ring, and
before you get into that, Donald texted me when the match was starting and they were raising the shark cage up, and he goes, "Why aren't Sammy and Ty in the shark cage with them?"
Gave it away.
And I was just like, "Oh yeah." As soon as he said that, I was like, "Well, you know how this match is going to end now."
Yep. It gave it away right there.
They weren't in the shark. They were in the shark cage.
The two of them weren't in the shark cage. No, the other four were.
They were around ringside.
No, they didn't come out till later.
No, they didn't come out till later.
Oh,
but they're part of the group, but they didn't throw them in the cage. Yeah. So from that point on, I was like, "Nope, you know what's going to happen," and it happened.
My most egregious moment was when Ruby was throwing punches with her brace hand. Like, work your injury. That's the first thing she's leading with. Wow.
And to me, I was like, well, why isn't Ruby in the shark cage? Like, if everybody
that's
on either side should just be in the shark cage or something, or just ban.
It's just not there.
Why is she allowed at ringside to man the controls?
And then the bars were big enough for everybody to get out when the key didn't work to open the lock. So
I never saw how Hager got out.
Yeah, go back.
I didn't watch that, but yeah. I'll believe it.
That was bad. And then Jericho, just like my name, cut me, Mick. First 4 seconds in, he on television got caught blatant right there. Camera's right on him.
Eddie Kingston comes over with the barbed wire to hit him, and Jericho's already bleeding.
So, my biggest takeaway from this is they can't pull these matches off.
No. The first one was a pay-per-view and it was shit. Why would you even do this again on TV?
With Omega and Moxley?
Yeah.
That one was the most believable one out of all of them.
Believable, but still ended up being a dud. Everybody.
I mean, you had this one Wednesday night. You had the exploding, the sparklers for the exploding death match. The first blood and guts with the Jericho's fake fall off the cage onto the safety mat. Like they have completely botched these. Well, they're not needed
now, especially
these hardcore specialty matches they need to stay away from.
I said it before. Barbed wire should just not be like you can do it from time to time depending on things, but not the main focus because
put it on the back.
Looking at it, it's so fake. Like
on the table,
it's like I'm not saying I want to see a real barbed wire death match. I don't want to see that. But I
don't need ECW. I don't need ECW barbed wire death match where Sabu's tricep is hanging out of his arm.
Yeah, I don't need to see that, but I also don't need to see rubber barbed wire on the outside that you're just bashing yourself into. Like,
so we can all four say the match was terrible.
The whole show Wednesday was terrible.
I think the whole show. I mean, the match, of course, man. The match topped it off. I think Dynamite itself was just a train wreck.
There was two things I enjoyed on the whole show. That was it. Two things.
Brody and Thing was okay. I enjoyed Brody Darby just for the match sake. But yeah, I mean, you could sit there and say the match was terrible, but there are still diehard fans that are eating it up, that loved it.
JR's bitch, shit, and then Jungle Boy. That's all I enjoyed.
I like Starks and
oh yeah, Cole Carter.
I didn't love it, and I was telling Donald about that. To me, Carter kind of came off a little bit too green in that match, and that's why I was saying, I was like, I think he was trying to rush it. I think he was a little nervous in that match, just the way he was coming off. Just like he was wrestling faster pace than what Starks was. I think like he was in spots before Starks was there, and I think his timing just needs to get a little bit better. But that's what I said. I was like, I'd rather see him in Ring of Honor. I think that would be more beneficial to him than being on the AEW roster.
And I don't see what everybody sees in Eddie Kingston. I honestly don't. I don't.
You said that for how long?
Yeah, I mean, without a mic in his hand, I mean, without a mic in his hand, I mean, this dude is nothing.
Yeah, I agree.
He's a poor man's Balls Mahoney. He just fights extreme matches with the gift of gab.
There's a sign. Next time AEW's here, there's a sign.
I mean, I don't see what everybody sees in him.
I don't either.
He's a valley.
The mic, that's it. Yeah.
I mean, I think he misses air with Mr. Fuji and Jimmy Hart and all that stuff. Just talk. Because the only thing I see him do is chops in that spinning back fist.
Now there's room and a place for a brawler to be a brawler, right? Like we talked about this on last week's show with styles and matches, and what Corey Graves brought up on NXT with everybody wrestling the same style and everything else. You need variety, and you need people to wrestle differently for the sake of the show, because if everybody wrestles the same, then nobody's going to be watching it, or at least people aren't going to gravitate to it the way that they should, because everybody's the same. So why tune in for just vanilla whenever you could have multiple flavors, Baskin Robbins? I think the problem with Eddie, one, this Jericho feud never should have happened. Those two are not the two that you put into the feud. That was the first mistake. And second, he should be not. I don't want to call him a special attraction, because he's not like a Brock Lesnar where he's just an attraction-based wrestler. But you don't need him out there wrestling every single week.
No.
Like him and Takeshita was great. I liked that match a lot on Rampage the week before. So like, you put him in there with the right people. Him and Punk was good. I loved him and Punk. But him and Jericho just never fit, and they weren't going to. And
I think they keep trying to force this so it does click at some point. It just hasn't. Yeah. And I don't think it will. I think at some point you just got to pull the plug on it.
And how much of the blame should be on Jericho? Like, when are we getting to the point where people need to like start pumping the brakes on Chris and say, hey, listen, the Jericho from 3 years ago when AEW started is not the same Jericho now, and it needs to start to wind down.
Yeah. I mean, he's got himself in great shape. He's got himself in better shape than whenever he first started in AEW. And I think that could be why he's trying to have more matches. But I agree. He turned 50 last year, right? So at 50 years old, you gotta figure out there's gotta be some part of an end game. And if he has this group now that's supposed to be young talent, why aren't they being put more over than him? Why is he still saying that?
Yep, I was just gonna say that, like with Inner Circle, like all this good stuff he did with Inner Circle and introducing us to Sammy, who didn't know Sammy before, Santana Ortiz, stuff like that, making them names and that stuff. It's not happening with the JAS at all. It's just like 2.0. When was the last time they was in a tag match, like a legit tag match? Only thing I see them doing is just promos.
When they fought,
I see them on my TV screen at all.
Yeah, like that's it.
Yeah.
It was like, come on, like there's young talent like Garcia. I know he's fighting tonight and all that stuff, but still, Like, these are 3 young talents. What are you doing? Seem like he's not building new stars. He's just making them step stools to get to his brother cement.
I mean, if you look at Jericho's feuds, MJF was the last good one, but I mean, it's MJF. So, like,
when did him and MJF feud? Like, around what time?
Last year. This time last year, they ran the summer. And
that was to All Out last year.
Yeah, and then before that, you know, it was Orange. Him and Orange had a good feud. Take out the Mimosa match, but I mean, like what he did with Orange helped elevate Orange up.
Mm-hmm.
The first, obviously, you know, the first match he had with Hangman, like that for the AEW title in the beginning. Like,
I think to Donald's point, I think the downfall of this JAS has been them bringing in Hager and then bringing in Sammy. You know, you had him with 2.0 and you had him with Garcia to build that young talent, and then you just bring in 2 established people from the inner circle again and just try to round it out. And I just don't think that's helped the group out at all.
And I've been more entertained with 2.0 for the promos they've cut online. Like the promo that they cut online after the Anarchy in the Arena match.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to see from them on screen each week.
That's like when they were in
I don't like them at all.
Not what they've been doing.
When they were in NXT, they were better in segments. Like, you had like digital shorts and stuff. No, but they didn't use them in the ring.
I'm over 2.0 completely.
Not yet.
They haven't done one thing yet. From NXT to now, they haven't clicked at all with me.
Oh, when they were with Garcia just by himself, just whooping everybody's ass. I love that. That's like the club. It's time to beat up John Cena.
I enjoy it because they're that tag team that you can interact with the crowd with, get the crowd to get the interaction with, do stupid stuff like an indie show type tag match team, but they don't use them like that.
So I got to go back and rewatch Dynamite, but from everything that I saw online, it was the shits.
I was gonna say, I'm telling you, save your time.
That Swerve in Your Glory celebration, awful.
Why
celebration?
That Swerve in Our Glory tag team celebration.
Yeah, that was complete sports entertainment.
Two things for me. One, I'm gonna keep saying this because it's never not gonna be true, but Ricky Starks. I mean, just put the rocket on his back already.
Yes.
Stop slow playing it. The whole when he made fun of Danhausen doing Danhausen, that was the best 5-second clip of the week. Like it was tremendous. And so that was my high of the show from the clips that I saw online because I was following along on Twitter catching clips, but that was for me that was it. And then secondly,
we constantly say he's like a young Rock, and that's exactly when he made fun of Danhausen. That's all I heard.
Yeah.
Secondly, why are you bringing Jungle Boy back now?
Need that quick pop. Need that quick pop.
What was the point?
And I hope Luchasaurus is just making this a ploy because if he's have Jungle Boys back, then what was the point of doing all this for a month?
But that makes it even look even worse if he aligns with them and then turns on him later. It's freaking Big Show flip flopping back and forth.
To me, Luchasaurus should have always been the one that turned on Jungle Boy.
Yeah,
that would have made it a bigger moment.
Yes, yeah.
And now Christian is the
Heat.
Which Christian with Luchasaurus being the Heat was perfect. Like I said, they should have ran it all the way up and until All Out and bring Jungle Boy out.
He's always going to overshadow Jungle Boy.
Who, Christian?
Yeah. There's never a point where Jungle Boy is going to eclipse Christian. So that's why you never put him in that feud, to me.
See, this only works to me as if Jungle Boy beats Christian. Like, this doesn't work if Christian beats Jungle Boy.
Because there was no need then, yeah.
So it's like if you do all this and you pull a Jericho or something and have Christian beat Jungle Boy, it's like the whole story's for naught.
Christian coming out each week and running down people and having Luchasaurus choke slam them through a table. You could have ran that week after week after week after week.
Week one.
But you could have ran it, though. Even though it's the same thing. I mean, even though it's the same thing, you could have ran with it.
It's and I set this up whenever they first after week one. It was The Miz coming to Raw, calling out John Cena the entire summer that Cena was away, and just tearing him down the entire summer until Cena came back, and the crowd fucking went bananas. And then they had the match and Cena won, destroyed The Miz. I'm not saying Jungle Boy come back and just squash Christian like Cena did Miz, but the story works the same. If you hold out and let him continue to build on the heat and continue to let it percolate and get steam and go week after week after week, instead of the pop that they got on Wednesday night, you'd have had the roof blew off a place if it would have been right before All Out. Or in a couple of weeks, say after, well, neither one of them have a belt, so Battle of the Belts wouldn't have made sense. But
All Out, yeah.
To do it, we're what, 3 weeks after the injury, 4 weeks most, right? A month out. Now I can see, okay, Jungle Boy's healthy. You want to have him out there because he is one of your top baby faces, but it wasn't like the timing's not right, and that goes back to who's booking the show and rushing every single angle for no reason but to rush it.
I have a feeling you're going to be right on this. I just think we still have a few weeks building up to All Out. We'll see what they do with the build up for that, for the match. But I think at the end of the day, we're going to sit here doing our All Out predictions, and I'll probably say you were right. They rushed it too early.
I think the biggest problem with Tony Khan's booking right now is that his personality is completely driving his booking. I.e., he is a nonstop 24/7 ball of energy.
Yeah.
The fan.
No, but I take the fan aspect out of it. I'm just talking simply the person is a nonstop ball of energy. Doesn't matter if it's 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. He is the same, just in your face, energetic, fast talking, hyper person, which is great with certain things. But when it comes to storytelling and booking pro wrestling, you can't have that impact your storytelling. And if you go back and look over where they've been the past year, it's been rush, match. And I think that is the biggest difference in the booking from AEW when it started to AEW till now.
Yeah. It's like the show in a way has like ADD. It's just like you constantly move from one thing to another. Like, okay, that's what we're doing. Okay, next thing, we gotta go to the next thing. Like, look at that.
And that's his personality. That's, if you listen to him during press conferences or interviews, like when he's on Busted Open on a weekly basis, if you just listen to him talk, he's just that type of personality. It's him. So you have to be able to remove that from your booking.
That's why I wish we knew like who his team was for creative, like that he bounces ideas off of, because whoever it is, I don't know if they need more people with it. They need to figure out how to slow it down. And like we've talked about, there's enough people back there that can help him out and steer the ship better.
At the end of the day, like we always said with Vince, the buck stops with him. So they can want to pull the reins, they could want to slow it down. They could tell him to prolong certain things, but if he wants to do it, he's going to do it.
He's the boss.
Yep. So, Jay, you got that quizzical face up there. What are you thinking right now?
Oh, I'm just making a face.
All right. Well, thanks for contributing. Thanks for contributing to the show. We appreciate it.
You want to worry about Paul White's gimmick?
This is your time to bash AEW, man. We're all doing it.
About that?
I know he's loving it, we're bashing it, so he's like, "Oh, I finally got to the turn."
I kind of am, but
Was that this week that news broke, or was that last week?
Last week.
We didn't talk about it last week.
No.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Hey, if it's one last run, it's one last run.
To me, that's a Vince angle. It's like we talk about Vince being out of touch on stuff, and it's like you bring in that gimmick 20 years later. Like, why? Like, it's not like it's something that's popular right now. You don't even hear people talk about it today. It's not like Captain Insano's like this like cult legendary figure from that movie.
I had to be reminded who he was.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me.
All right. Rampage last night I thought was a good show. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed Lee Dante.
Yeah.
I had to go back and watch that.
And the one ass brother. The one doing the rap.
The rap battle was I listen. I heard rap battle and I'm like, okay, this is
good to start with. Listen, huh?
It's gonna be a train. Absolutely. That was entertaining.
It was terrible, but it was entertaining. I enjoyed who was it? Colton,
yeah.
That's the one. I enjoyed him. I don't know what Max was. He's supposed to be the rapper, and he did nothing.
All right, last night's rap battle or Cena Kurt Angle? Which one was better?
Cena
Kurt Angle.
New Day.
The New Day and the Usos.
And the fact that you punched little Crabbie and he just rolled out the ring. The man owns a wrestling company. I didn't get some shine in.
Oh, that's who it was?
He's booked in a match. Little Scrappy's booked in a match. Did you see the promo?
Oh, that's who it was. I didn't know who it was.
Yeah.
Who it was.
Damn. Oh, they brought out all the rappers last week.
I saw Jermaine Dupri.
JD, Kevin Gates.
When they was talking about Kevin Gates, I didn't know who the hell he was. Tell you how out of touch I am with the rap game.
I don't know his music, but I know him from social media.
I don't know who he is.
That's it.
I'm not mad at the interactions with the celebrities, but again,
don't overdo it.
You had everybody there Wednesday night because Rampage was taped, so you had Kevin Gates, Jermaine Dupri, and Lil Scrappy, and it was all done on one show.
And then that short cage still up there.
That's the biggest.
That's the biggest
production miss ever.
That was terrible. Like it's supposed to be a Friday, but the cage is still hanging up there.
Festivities all week.
You cannot get that in the shot on Friday night.
Like
it's Shark Week.
So when did you have the barbed wire match?
Wednesday.
They had a Wednesday.
Was that the end? Was that actually the end of Dynamite? And then they went to Rampage?
Yeah, and then it went around. Yeah.
We did all that, took all that down.
But they didn't take the shark cage down.
I don't think you can take that down with the people around, with the audience in there.
Yeah, you can. You lowered it.
They lowered it.
You lowered it and hit it.
All right. Anything else on AEW?
No.
Nope. All right. Well, let's get into what I think is going to be arguably all said and done. It could be pay-per-view of the year, based off of the card that they've rolled out there, to go head-to-head with ROH's last pay-per-view when they came back in April. I don't want to overhype this. Like, I don't want to be the guy that hypes up the Oscar nominees and says, "Yo, this is the greatest thing ever." But just on paper, looking at this card, probably one of the most excited pay-per-views.
Don't oversell
from
me.
a watching standpoint that I'm interested in a long time.
Don't get my hopes up.
I wish they would have kept it the way we were talking about like last week. That it just would have been the 5 title matches, and that's it. They've now added a lot of matches.
But those are all on the buy. Those are all on the pre-show.
There's 4 pre-show matches, 7 matches total on the main card.
I didn't see the other 2 that they added to the main card.
Yeah.
So
it was like a takeover style with just title matches.
Yeah, I think I would have enjoyed that a lot more.
Well, I mean, you can.
We'll see.
Let's get into it. Let's get into it and break it down. So,
all right. We got 4 matches on the 0 hour, so we'll try to go through those pretty quickly. Right now, we got Tully Blanchard Enterprises versus Alex Zane, Blake Christian, and Tony Deppen.
So this stylistically, this match is for those three guys to sell their asses off for Cage and Gates of Agony, which I'm okay for. Like, put that out there, and that's the presentation you're going to roll with, then I am absolutely fine with it. I love Blake Christian. Zane, I'm a fan of his too. Deppen, he's good, but needless to say, this is going to be just a sell.
Yeah.
And establish Tully Blanchard Enterprises to get them to be built up into being the monster stable for ROH when they actually do go to TV or streaming or whatever the case may be.
Yep, Blanchard Enterprise. This should be a squash match.
TV.
All 6 men in the ring at one time, and just Blanchard Enterprise is destroying them.
And Jay, before you and Chris go, just side note, the shot of them in the arena last night in the skybox, like, I love the look of the group. Just looking at the 4 men together, like, it just, whether or not it'll play out, I don't know. I like the way that it looks.
Cage just threw me off because it's Cage, and it's like I don't want to say it's a demotion, but it just seems like now he's back down into another. He
should have been the number 1 instead of the number 2.
Yeah, but those other 2 dudes look menacing. So
yeah, I agree with Donald. I think if this match goes longer than 5 minutes, I'll be surprised. It's just going to be a complete squash. I don't know any of these guys really that they're fighting. So, yeah, I think this is a good fit for Cage right now. You know, just not getting anything done on AEW. I think we'll see what they can do in Ring of Honor for him. See if they can build him up better.
Now, is it like a tag and a solo guy?
Yeah.
Is that how they're running this? The 2 and then Cage?
Yeah.
The group? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think this next match has potential to be Jason's match of the year. We got the Shinobi Shadow Squad. We got Cheeseburger back versus the Trustbusters.
The Trustbusters, Tony Khan is super high on that faction in that group. We saw on Rampage the announcement for Daivari coming soon. So he has big plans for him. But Cheeseburger is sports entertainment personified. So that's, again.
And he put some weight on. He ain't cheeseburger no more. He's a double cheeseburger.
He's a double cheeseburger, absolutely. I'll go with the Trustbusters just because Tony's super high on them, and I think he has big things planned for them.
I'm not familiar with either of the 2, so I'm just going to say the Shinobi Shadow Squad.
So remember we went to the
Wrestle Pit.
The Wrestle Pit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that Eli guy the same guy that was with him?
Yeah, I believe so.
Guy. That's the same guy?
I believe so.
Okay, okay. I'll go with the Shinobi Squad.
I think I have to go with Steve's logic on here with hearing how high they are on Daivari right now. I'm going to go with the Trustbusters. So that'll move us into Colt Cabana versus Anthony Henry. This is rumored to be Colt Cabana is going to be part of Ring of Honor full time now. He's not going to be part of AEW.
Yeah, there was a lot that came out. Tony deferred on answering any of those questions with regards to Colt and CM Punk's relationship, and
as he should.
Rumors surrounding the whole situation as to whether or not Colt was actually going to be gone from the company. There's a spot for Colt Cabana. He doesn't have to go out there and wrestle all the time. He did commentary for a while with Ring of Honor. He's a great wrestling mind, has been in the business forever, so you can get value out of him in more areas than just in the ring with ROH. So fine with that. I'm super excited for Anthony Henry to get this spot and be out there. I'll go with Cabana just because it's Colt.
I want Henry.
Card. Although I would prefer Henry, but I just see them giving it to Colt.
Again, I'm like with you, Steve. I prefer Henry, but they're going to give it to Colt just for the pop.
I'm going to go Henry.
The name Anthony Henry doesn't ring a bell, but I think I have to see a picture to know if I know him as a talent.
Nobody on this card so far has ring a bell for you. Do you watch pro wrestling? What are you doing?
He knows cheeseburger. He just knows cheeseburger.
I'll go with Boom Boom.
I expected this from Jason with talking about this card, not from you. But Jay's giving more info on wrestlers than you.
Probably have to follow up on some talent.
All right, what's next?
Allison Kay versus Willow.
This is gonna be a match of the day.
I saw a tweet this week, and I forget who it was, and I apologize because I want to give credit because I don't want to steal it, and it's not my tweet. But the comparison for Willow Nightingale was Sinclair from Living Single, and I thought that is just the perfect character comparison.
In the wrestling singlet.
And it just makes me love her even that much more than what I already did. Like, I'm a huge Willow fan, so I'll go with Willow. But I can see Allison winning this because Willow's that type of talent that a loss is not going to hurt her at all.
Nightingale.
I'm always going to go Willow. Love her.
Yeah, I guess this depends if Allison's actually part of Ring of Honor. I mean, if she's just being brought in, I see Willow. I'm going to go with Willow.
They're going to have to start signing women, like, because your AEW roster is not that deep to move a bunch of women over. So, if they do get Allison signed to ROH, I think that's a great signing for them to have her on their roster in their women's division. Willow, another one that could do great things, although she was, dipping her toes with Athena and Statlander with the baddies before Red Velvet got hurt. So I don't know if that's why they put that on pause. But yeah, like I said, Willow is, I don't know, there's just something about her. Whenever I see her on screen, I'm instantly happy, which in pro wrestling nowadays, I guess it's kind of hard to be happy whenever you see a character.
All right, so I'll move us into the main card. The only non-title match on the show, Roosh versus Dragon Lee.
This has potential to be match of the night. If you're not familiar with either one of these two,
brother versus
and they
brother.
are real life brothers, a la Phoenix and Penta. This has potential for match of the night. Like I said, I think there's the bigger story to be played here, where you bring in Dragon Lee to be a part of Roosh and Andrade, and run with that stable in AEW. And I'm all for that if that's the direction that they're going to go.
I don't know either of these guys, but Dragon Lee sounds cooler, so I'm going to go Dragon Lee.
He's the one who broke Takahashi's neck.
I don't know that guy either.
Yeah, the guy with the cat in New Japan.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm going with Roosh in this. And this is my match of the night.
I like Dragon Lee. I'd actually like to see him win this, but it depends on if he's being brought in. I know Tony's big on Roosh since he's brought him in, so I think I'm going to go with Roosh on this. So after that, we got all title matches for the rest. So let's go to the most recent that they added, the ROH 6-man tag team championship. Got the champions, the Righteous versus Dalton Castle and the Boys.
So I didn't see this match announced.
They announced it on Dynamite this week.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. I'm glad that they are they're staying consistent with the ROH titles. So you have the pure, you have the heavyweight, you have the 6-man. I think that's all good for your brand and what you're doing as far as getting the champions established. Vincent is the interesting one because he's been involved in Impact, and I don't know if his deal's up with Impact, with Honor No More and those guys. It may be, but I'll go with
Heart of Honor.
I'll go with Dalton and the Boys. Get the Peacock a run.
Yeah, Dalton and the Boys.
I'm going to go with the Righteous Brothers. Or the Righteous.
No, you're adding brothers.
They're not going to be singing.
So they're the Temptations.
Steve, I'm the opposite of you. I did not want to see these brought in. I was kind of hoping maybe they would, if they brought in the 6-man belts, that they would just kind of like evolve that into the AEW Trios title instead. I don't need to see Ring of Honor have all these titles. I think it's a lot. I think it's just a lot of titles in the company period right now. But for this, I'm going to go with Dalton Castle and the boys. Give them some.
Okay.
We'll head into the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. Got champion Mercedes Martinez versus Serena Deeb.
Again, this could be match of the night. A lot of people, Tony Khan is especially high on Mercedes. You have two pros in here when it comes to women's wrestling in this match. The experience of these two is off the charts as far as decades in the business. I like the build that they've done to this match. I don't want to see Mercedes lose the title so far, given the fact that it is early and you don't have things established yet for her to drop the belt. But something about Serena Deeb with the ROH Women's Championship, I like the sound of that better than Mercedes. So I'm going to go with the professor of pro wrestling and put it on Serena.
Yep. Anytime Serena's in the match, I'm all for her. Deeb for the win.
I wish this was flip-flopped, where Deeb was the champion and Mercedes took it off of her. But I'm going to go, if Mercedes loses it to Deeb, I want this to continue. I don't want this to be done yet. I'll go Deeb.
Interesting. Yeah, that's kind of I'm a little questionable just because this is really Mercedes' biggest title match since getting the belt from Deonna. And it's like, do you really have her lose her first big match? Yeah, she's had a lot of matches on Dark, but being the first big title match, I'm gonna say Mercedes retains.
I think you can have it where Deeb loses and they still continue to feud. It doesn't necessarily have to be a one-off end.
Ultimately, I want this to continue.
Yeah.
It's just it's odd to see. To me, looking at Mercedes, she's a natural heel, and we all know Deeb is tremendous as a heel. Like there's very few women that can do a heel wrestler better than Serena. So the dynamic of watching Mercedes wrestle as the babyface in this match is going to be interesting because everything about her just says heel. So I'm curious how they pull it off. But like you said, Chris, I can see them having Mercedes keep the title. No point in having her lose it. It's just I'm more of a fan for seeing Serena with the belt.
I wouldn't mind it. I'll go into the next match here. Probably the match that's gotten most TV time. The ROH World TV Championship. Samoa Joe versus Jay Lethal.
Not saying that this could be match of the night too, but like, how do you have Jay Lethal and Samoa Joe in a ring and a bad match happen? You know what I mean? Like
shenanigans.
Well, that's where it's gonna that'll be the downfall. If you just let these two go out there and have a match and tell the story, it's not gonna be a bad match. Like you just can't with these two, it just can't happen. But when you add in the outside interference and everything else that's gone on, that's where the cluster can come in. And I'm hoping that we don't get that type of booking for this match. Joe's done some, outside of business stuff where, he's ventured off and, filmed the voiceover role and everything else. Lethal to me seems like he is more in line to have a longer run. As far as in-ring, not sure how much Joe really wants to be in-ring anymore. He hasn't led on to anything in that standpoint. But I'm a Samoa Joe mark, always have been since the initial ROH days. So I want to see Joe retain the belt. I'll keep it on Joe.
A loss doesn't hurt anybody in this at all, but Samoa Joe for the win. I love Jay Lethal, but Joe.
I'm gonna go Lethal. Get that belt on TV.
I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go with Lethal for the belt. I think putting it on him just makes a little bit more sense to keep it on TV, like Jason said.
Mm-hmm. And then you can build up whoever's next off of Lethal.
Mm-hmm. All right, next match. ROH Pure Championship. Wheeler Yuta versus Daniel Garcia. Go ahead, Steve. Another match of the night.
Another one, honestly. No, but seriously, especially because it's pure rules. Like these two, I'm telling you, if you people that are brand new to ROH and don't know what a pure rules match is, they've done one. No, hell no. No, absolutely not. I'm mad you even put that comment up on the screen. Shit out of here, Kenny. But no, back to pure rules. It's a different presentation, and it's what sucked me back into ROH whenever they came out of the pandemic. That whole Pure Rules Championship title tournament that they had got me hooked back on ROH. And these two, I'm super, super excited for this match. This is the mold that I want to see Garcia in. Mm-hmm. Not the sports entertainer in the JAS. He doesn't fit that at all. This style, what these two are going to do to each other, this is going to be a hell of a match, especially with how hot Yuta has been since his rise through the rankings and being attached to the BCC. BCC.
Yeah, I have to work through my head too.
Because if we say one letter wrong, that's you know what I mean. Like it's a whole nother bag. So yeah, I'll go with Yuta to retain.
I'm gonna go Garcia for the win.
I still don't get pure rules, but I'm gonna go with Garcia.
Okay.
Wheeler needs to spend his time on Dynamite.
This is the match that sold me on this event. This is the one that I'm most looking forward to, but I'm gonna go with Yuta to retain. We'll head into the next match, which will be, I know, the one Steve's looking most forward to, the 2 out of 3 falls match for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship.
We got all matches.
This is going to be match of the night. I mean, I was just saying. You guys aren't as high on the Briscoes as I am. But when you start rattling on 5-star matches and you look at those 5-star matches and who's in the match, the Briscoes are in a lot of those 5-star matches from tag team wrestling. FTR is on a run that I said it last week when we did our mid-year reviews. Dax for me is up there as Wrestler of the Year. Cash is not that far behind from being thrown into that discussion too, with a couple more singles matches. But I mean, they're the best tag team in pro wrestling for a reason right now, and they have been this entire year. It's not even close. It's not even an argument. My only hesitation in picking this match is because the Briscoes are now signed to ROH and it's a long-term deal. Do they win the belts back? If they win the belts back tonight in the 2 out of 3 falls, then what do you do for the rubber match? Because you can't have it be 1-1.
I mean, really, technically, in the 2 out of 3 falls, isn't that the rubber match right there? Depending on how it goes.
No, you just have blood and guts.
That's 4. It'll be 2-2.
It'll be 2-2. If the Briscoes win, it'll be 2-2. I don't care if you have this match in a stadium, if you have it at a bingo hall, if you have it at the Payless parking lot down the street from your house. I don't care where it's at. If these two teams are wrestling each other, I'm going to be there watching it, period. So this is all I need to watch tonight. The rest of the card is just icing on the cake for me. This is my cherry on the Sunday. I can't go against my boys, so I'll go with FTR.
FTR. I don't see them dropping the titles no time soon.
Briscoes.
Did you just flip a coin to pick? I can't even be mad at that because
It is.
I've jumped back and forth on this prediction so many times. Like, I can see it going both ways. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy this. And, I would love for this to main event the show, but it's not going to.
It should.
It should.
It should.
Definitely should main event.
It should. It should.
I said last week this, so far this year, this pro wrestling's been all about tag team wrestling, and that's a lot to do with FTR. And I'm just going to continue going with that FTR for the win tonight. All right, so that takes us into the possible main event, the ROH World Championship. Jonathan Gresham versus Claudio Castagnoli.
What'd you guys think of the promo Claudio cut yesterday on Rampage?
It was okay.
I didn't see it.
WWE-ish.
Did it seem like the crowd was behind him at all? It was very quiet during that promo. Which harkens back to, I think, Jay, it was your point that you made either last week or a couple weeks ago as far as why Cesaro Claudio has never been the guy. The pop when he came out last night was great.
Yeah.
Always.
When he got in the ring, it was great.
Loses you on the mic.
When he started talking, that crowd went dead.
And it's like, because you believe in me, and we're tired of hearing that.
But even whenever he said that, it wasn't the Oprah, you get a car, and everybody's losing their mind. It wasn't even that. Like, it took a little while for the noise to come through the screen as far as the crowd actually cheering. Not saying that he was pandering to the crowd for them to react, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not the same reaction as when Danielson's in the ring cutting that promo. Because bell to bell, Claudio is one of the best wrestlers out there. It has been for years. Like, there's no argument there, bell to bell. It's what you do before and after that bell to bell that has prevented you from winning a world title your entire career. Yeah. And I think last night highlighted it to the max for me watching that promo.
I wanna table this till we get heel Claudio. A heel Claudio promo. Because like out there talking, he got through it perfectly fine to me. And it was showing he could talk a little bit, but like the impact of the words and what he was saying, that's where it fell off.
And I think part of the reason is because his personality is like that laid back guy. Like you said, there was no problem with what he said or when he said it. It was how he said it. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't draw the reaction based off of the words that he's saying, using inflection, tone, all that stuff. Like he doesn't garner that type of reaction. The promo was fine. I got no problem with anything that he said in the promo. It's just you're not getting the reaction, and it's just because of how he naturally speaks.
I think you were talking about you need that heel Claudio, and that's even a problem in the BCC to begin with. Because what are they? Are they a heel group or are they a face group? Because right now, more of them are acting like faces than heels.
They're just people that whoop ass.
So, like, you have Brian come out and he says, he does his thing. And he goes, "Well, I'm a bad guy now, so I'm not going to tell you who my replacement is." And it's like, well, if you're the bad guy, then why is everybody else acting good? Shouldn't it be consistent throughout the group? So, shouldn't it be a heel group or a face group? Like, you shouldn't have.
They're the anti-heroes.
Yeah.
They're the Thunderbolts?
Yes. Led by General Ross.
They're strictly just a group that beats people up based on their wrestling skills.
Yeah.
Minus Mox.
I'm gonna go Jonathan. Oh, go ahead, Steve.
I'm not ready to see Claudio win Like, I'm a little upset that they even have him in this spot right now.
I don't want it because I don't want that WWE guy with the belt talk.
And I know Claudio has the ROH history to go along with him being an ROH champion. But how many wrestlers really know Claudio from ROH? Wrestling fans know Claudio from ROH. Because he's been in the WWE the last 12 years. So, depending on how old you are and how much of a fan you are, right?
I'd probably say maybe the AEW audience would probably know him. I'd say that that'd be similar audience.
Not me.
Like, if Claudio came out with his ROH original theme song, would people pop the way that Punk came out with his ROH theme song for his entrance? They wouldn't be singing along with that. People don't know that. Like, they, you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't. It's more Cesaro swing and we the people type stuff from WWE. Like,
so this man has never been a champion?
World
not
champ.
a heavyweight champion, not a world champ. Was it like Gresham to me is perfect as your champion for ROH. Again, bell to bell, he's one of the best in the world. And he's aligned himself with Tully, so you know he's heel, which Claudio obviously faced, so you have the dynamic correct for the match. I just feel like it's the wrong time to put Claudio up for this. Which goes back to the guy who's booking the show and rushing stuff just to rush it. Like, you're not drawing extra pay-per-view buys because you put Claudio in this world title match. Which goes back to why FTR and the Briscoes should be main eventing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is where you see shenanigans, Jay. Which I don't like from a wrestling standpoint based off of what Gresham does and what he stands for and how he portrays himself. So how they book this match is going to be interesting for me. I don't think it's Claudio's time, even though he's never been a champ. He's like, if you're going live on TV, Claudio's not the guy that you want as your champ right off the bat. And I know I'll probably get killed for that. But based off of that promo last night,
Gresham.
I'm going Gresham because he's aligned with new people, and he has more of a story with those new people to keep moving on. Claudio, to me, is just like the whole CM Punk situation. It's just like something that fans like, that Tony likes, and if they put the title on him, it's no better than Punk getting the title.
I'm going to go with Gresham in this. Just, I think with the whole Tully Blanchard Enterprises, him siding with that, I think that is something that they're going to be moving forward with. That's going to be like one of the main storylines for when Ring of Honor actually is on TV. The thing that I saw to counter that online has been people saying, who's the bigger name, Gresham or Claudio? And if you want to pull something, you're going to get on TV, you need the bigger name. And I can understand that argument. But I don't think that's why Claudio's there. I think Claudio's there to have a good match tonight with Gresham, to help put Gresham over, to make him a legit champion in Ring of Honor. And he's going to do that.
And wrestling-wise, bell to bell, absolutely. Like, again, this could be match of the night based off of wrestling.
But I think, to me, I think this has a possibility to not be the main event. I think that there could be that possibility of the tag title being the main event, because that's gonna send the crowd home happy, I think. But also depends storyline what they have going after tonight too. After we saw Supercard of Honor, you had Samoa Joe come out afterwards, after that title match. So there was a storyline to continue after that, and we'll see what they have planned for tonight and if there's anything like that. Does anybody have a different match than
legit match of the night predictions?
I said Roosh and Dragon Lee. I would say FTR and Briscoes, but you can't have like 5 match of the years. I mean, even though it's going to be a good match, like, come on. Let somebody else have the shine for a second.
I got FTR and the Briscoes.
Cesaro aggression.
Claudio. It's not Cesaro. He's not in WWE no more. You don't refer to that name. You don't refer to that man by that name.
Hey. And that's why he won't get the pop.
I'm gonna go Yuta Garcia. So that's the match that sold me on this event. So we'll go with that for match of the night.
So we have all 4 of us have different match of the night. So we can put up a poll after the show goes off air. We'll put up a poll out of those 4 matches that we just picked, and we'll run it up until showtime for the pay-per-view tonight. Go out there, vote on it. Let us know out of those 4, who do you predict to be match of the night?
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
All right, let's drink a beer.
Chug, 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 chug.
I'm hoping this beer is cold enough. Because otherwise, I think I'll be disappointed. But
smell that
now,
raspberry.
Jay, you going to set this up or what?
I was in the liquor store whoever
Beer distributor,
and it was real small, and I just seen raspberry, so I was like, I'm gonna take it.
That's what I figured you did whenever you bought it, but I don't think you caught the ginger beer.
I saw the ginger beer. I saw the ginger beer.
So it's Crabbie's raspberry. It's a malt beverage with natural and artificial flavors, added and colored with fruits and vegetables. I got vegetables in my beer.
Yeah, it's healthy for you.
I'm interested in seeing Jason's reaction to this because I've seen him drink ginger beer before, like plain ginger beer, and wasn't real crazy about it. So I was surprised when he bought this.
You might not see it because your boy lost his.
You thought it was a twist off again, huh?
Here we go. Handy dandy tweezers.
Pluck that unibrow and open up a bottle of beer.
Yeah.
Donald's making a face down there. You know what he got going on.
Wasn't there like a reality show like survival? Wasn't, but like where you could like find like everyday items to do stuff. That's gonna be Jason's next show.
Bear Grylls.
So this is real ginger steeped for up to 6 weeks, and it's a Scottish raspberry flavor. Best served over ice. None of us are pouring this over ice.
No.
We didn't read the instructions.
A la Moscow Mule.
That's how they say to do not your father's beer. I've never had that over ice.
And I don't have any ice in my house to go grab a cup to pour it over to see what the difference is. It's only 4.8% alcohol by volume, so you're not going to get smashed off of these.
Probably would be a really good addition to a Moscow Mule.
Yeah, the ginger is more subtle than what I was expecting, which I'm happy for. I thought the ginger was going to overpower the beer and get that real strong ginger note to it to overpower it. I would definitely try this again and drink it over ice like they say. I don't hate it at all. Like I really don't.
I really like the smell to it. When I first tasted it, it tasted weird. It did. That was my face. But as I'm going along drinking it, I'm liking it more and more and more and more.
Yeah, like whenever you open it up, it smells like that, just traditional like raspberry. You get that aroma. Mm-hmm. Tasting it's smoother than I was expecting it to be. Like usually, like ginger beer has that harsh bite, like real strong bite to it, and this isn't giving that. And You get a little bit of it, but it's not overpowering. But
Tasting
I'm liking this. I would like to try this in a mule, like over ice in a mule. I think that would be really good.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
This is one where like it's a movie that would get rewatched and get better the more you rewatch it because you're picking up on different things. So I feel like if you drink it just out of the bottle, if you go back and pour it over ice, you're going to get flavors and notes and taste different than what you get just from drinking it out of the bottle. I would definitely replay this one for sure. So if I see this out again for myself, I'm just going to pick it up to get a taste and drink it that way. So I'll go 3.25.
I'm gonna go 3.5 on it. I enjoy it now.
3.
I'm gonna go 3.5 as well. Yeah, I enjoy that. Not bad. Good pick.
I'm trying to figure out the taste. That it reminds me of.
I think the raspberry and ginger together is a nice combination.
Yeah, it's helping a lot.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that pairing to work.
I think if you would have done it with another fruit flavor, I don't think it would have came off as well.
I wonder if they have any other flavors or if it's just raspberry and their normal ginger beer.
I think there are more.
I don't know. But yeah, if you see this out and about, pick it up. Let us know what you think for Crabbie's raspberry alcoholic ginger beer. Anything else to add? Nope. I did enough drinking this week to last me for a little bit, so let's cap off my week.
We going into sports?
I guess so. I don't know. Show's off the wheels at this point. I don't. You guys, I'm following your lead. I said this in pre-production.
I
was on vacation.
I have one thing
there.
I could do it during final thoughts. It's real short.
All right, go into one. Got to go. Look, we've lost all comments. We got nothing right now.
Because we're not talking about wrestling anymore.
That's what I get for missing pre-production. So,
all right, Jay. So, did you just run with the one got to go from last week? Well, before you do that, let's get the poll results from last week's one got to go.
Kenny, if you're still there, David and Donna got voted off. They got the majority of the votes. Kenny was so upset over that this week. Sent me messages on it, like saying he's gonna try to go to like some 90210 chat rooms to get them to come and vote on our polls.
According to Panga, I did get one vote for that on my poll, and it was from Jason's friend, not my friend.
I did have a couple of votes on that too on ours. So.
Did we have a lot of interaction for 4 guys talking about 90s TV couples?
Actually, yeah. Like there was a lot of people that voted David and Donna off. I was actually really surprised how many votes there were.
You know, between that and the soap opera edition of one gotta go.
I'm telling you.
You gotta relate to everybody.
I'm telling you. We're here. I can talk soaps and I can talk drama.
All right, Jay, what do you got this week for us?
I was gonna have Chris put it up just to mess with you, but I was hearing Before I Let Go and Candy, and I was thinking like Electric Slide's not even the best Electric Slide song to dance to, so I went with Wedding Reception Line Dances.
Ooh.
This is a good one.
This is easy though.
Yeah.
Very simple.
It depends on what type of wedding you're at.
Look, I sent Chris in the text. I was like, with apologies, the Cotton Eye Joe and Boots and Boogie. I tried to keep it in the same genre.
To me, the Cha-Cha Slide is too damn long. Like that song seems like it goes on for 10 minutes. Like, and I know all these are repetitive, but like the whole, I don't just because he's singing the slide to the left, slide to the right, crisscross, like all that. Like I'm over that after like 2 minutes. Like it feels like a CD skipping where it's just replaying the same words over and over again.
Then they kept adding to it and adding to it and adding to it.
Yeah. I mean, the electric slide obviously would be the OG based off of the age for the song. I feel like that's where more of the whites would come in at and vote for the electric slide. Not too many all white weddings are you going to get the wobble and Cupid Shuffle out there. Although Cupid Shuffle would probably be number 2 out of this list as far as a white wedding. And I don't mean the bride's dress, by the way.
I figure we all could relate to these.
We're getting canceled.
I like out of the 4 of these, the one that I like dancing to the most and the one that I have the most fun doing. I like the wobble. But I feel like, I would get hounded if I picked something else besides electric slide. I'll go cha-cha slide. Gotta go.
There we go. Electric slide staying. That's a staple. I think Cupid Shuffle has become my favorite. Then the wobble. Cha-cha slide gotta go. And I think it just might be the song because every other song has more of a song to it and not just the steps. Cha-cha slide.
Like cha-cha slide is like paint by numbers, but for music.
Yeah.
It's like a stepped up version of the hokey pokey.
But for people that that aren't good dancers, they can do that because it's telling them what to do.
Instead try to catch a spot in line.
Yeah, but I mean, you can have people that know how to follow directions, but if you still got no rhythm, I don't care how well they're telling you to do the steps, it's still gonna look trash. So, Chris,
any wedding that I go to, these all get played. So I mean, these people go out on the dance floor, but there's a reason why I put the dates up on it too. Was because I think electric slide to me is just so played out. It's like, yes, like the people go up and still dance to it, but I don't know if you get. It's like just one of those things that you're at a wedding that just like, okay, they're gonna play the electric slide at some point. Everybody's gotta go out there and dance to it. But any of the other 3 songs go on. I think you get more energy from the other 3 when they come on. Like people are excited that that's getting played. At least whenever I see it at a wedding, I think the electric slide's just like, okay, we got to do it. And everybody, especially the older aunts, go up and do it, where the younger aunts are looking forward to the other songs instead. So I'm going to go electric slide. That can go. It's
Somebody
its
catch
time.
this man.
The 80s. It's had its time. Let the
3-man poop next week. That might be the worst take.
I mean, when you go to a wedding and you see the electric slide play, like, do people really get excited to go dance to it? Or?
Hell yeah!
The electric slide, it's the OG.
Whenever I see it, I just see people like not as many people are on the dance floor as the other ones, and it's like people just think, okay, I gotta go dance to it. It's the electric slide.
How many people at the weddings you've been to really know how to pull off the wobble?
I've never seen an issue with it. That's even just.
I think you're being contrarian for contrarian's sake. I don't know. The electric slide to me may be like Corey and Topanga. I could have this completely read wrong to where you might have 1 or 2 votes for it, but I don't know. You may have more people side with you than what I'm thinking.
For me, Cupid Shuffle is number 1 on my list. That is not going anywhere because to the dance, I can do different variations to the kick part. And when I get hammered, it's a sight to see.
Shit, I might just get married to see this.
The electric slide is the OG. That's definitely the OG. Wobble, I like the wobble. I could just listen to that as a song. And cha-cha slide, it's funny with the cha-cha slide because whenever it does the Charlie Brown, you just see everybody just doing different stuff, which is really, really hilarious. But for this list, what got to go? I agree with Chris. The electric slide is so played out. I'm tired of seeing it at the weddings. And also, like you said, when it comes on, Nobody's on the dance floor. But as soon as one of the other three come on, everybody's rushing to the floor.
Wow, they don't even play the cha-cha slide at weddings. Get out of here.
I think they played at Damien's. I think they played at Vic's. Yeah, electric slide got to go.
Terrible take.
Can you agree with us too?
Look at that.
Wow. Like I said, I could have the room completely read wrong right now. And this may be a blowout to where it's just electric slide got to go all day long. But
I do like the list, though. I think those were good songs to pick from.
I'd rather see Cotton Eye Joe up there than Electric Slide. Now,
Shut
that's a
your
dance,
mouth.
now, boy. Now,
Shut
that's a
your
dance
mouth.
song, boy. Woo! See them in the cowboy boots.
Stop hanging out with white girls.
Hey, look, you remember Saddle Ridge? Saddle Ridge used to be a place to cut through and get your drinks. A little country bar. But I tell you what, you pick up one of them country line dances, you can do anything. Like you can change the world.
And they teach you too. And they teach you too. They do. You get on there, you're lost, boy. The moms be over there helping you.
Yeah. Let you learn. And
there's country line groups that are like those are like HBCU steppers. Like they're out there practicing 4 nights a week. Like it is nonstop.
Stomp the yard. Stomp the yard.
There's your clip of the week. There's your clip of the week.
Jason, you died over there?
That's payback for the Hallelujah last week where I was spitting out on my laptop.
bro, I just spit on my carpet.
Some people like that.
Wow.
Final thoughts. Final thoughts.
Just follow us on social media. Go to markspot.com for everything.
Yo, what are you wiping that up with right now?
Fuck, I was wiping my sweat with.
That's tremendous. That's tremendous. Donald, what do you have?
It was a quick baseball topic. So the Pirates are going to start a Ring of Honor down at their stadium, and I'm not sure when they're going to announce the first class, but Barry Bonds was mentioned, and they had a poll: should Barry Bonds be in the Pirates Ring of Honor?
I think I did see that they added someone. I think the first person was announced. I forget who it was, though.
Okay.
Should he be? Yes.
I think so. Yes.
You could argue his Pirates career is a Hall of Fame worthy career just based off of what he did as a Pirate before he went to San Francisco.
Mm-hmm. If it's just team based like that, Pirates, definitely.
I got it. This tastes like steak sauce.
Steak sauce?
For me, it tastes like A1.
What were you eating earlier?
Yeah, what are you? How do you
During the show?
It's been killing me the whole time since the first sip.
This dude's palate has been so transformed by sugar and peach rings. He don't know how. He don't know what tastes like what.
I'm gonna go look up the ingredients in A1.
I guarantee you, there's no raspberry and no ginger. I can guarantee you that there's neither one of those in
There
A1.
might be ginger. There might be.
Worcestershire sauce.
Jesus. You brought up baseball, Donald. Hey, what amount of money that would be offered to you would you turn down and be comfortable turning it down?
Talking about Soho.
Anything less than what I'm making now?
Man.
Juan Soto turned down a $440 million contract extension from the National. 15 years, $440 million. Now,
why?
He turned it down, right? And after he turned it down, the Nationals refused to charter him a flight to the Home Run Derby. So he flew on a commercial flight into LA arrived at 1:30 in the morning Tuesday or Monday and went out there and won the home run derby. $440 million
for 15 years, though.
15 years, yeah. That's
Now he won a ring already with the Nationals. Now, for me, if I'm a player or anything like that, if I win a ring, I want money then because I have a ring. I'm good. I want my money. I would never turn that down if I was in his position. I don't care if it was for 15 years. I hate the organization or anything. Give me my money.
Yeah, it's just I can see the turning down just for the length of the contract.
Yeah, the length.
The length is ridiculous, but
how old is he now? He's 24?
This would be his big. Yeah, I think if that contract would end when he's 39. So like this is his big. That would have been his big deal. But
now if I didn't have a ring, yeah, I would want to play for somebody who has an opportunity because I want to win a championship.
Okay.
And then the other thing surrounding the All-Star game that I saw and revolved around, I forget the Oakland Athletics player.
Their pitcher, I forget his name.
But the A's were not going to fly him out to the All-Star game. So I think it was the Rangers.
It was Astros.
The Astros. The Astros heard about this and flew him in on their charter plane. So the Oakland Athletics refused to fly him out to the All-Star game. And another baseball team picked him up. So you know what's going to happen whenever he goes into free agency? You know who he's going to sign with, right? The Astros.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Is that tampering?
Hey, I don't know, but the fact that you have All-Star, even the lousy ass Pittsburgh Pirates, who don't do anything right and are the cheapest of cheaps, flew out Bednar for the All-Star game. It's just mind-blowing to me. You're a professional sports organization. You're making your players pay for flights out, minus the Nationals because that's a petty.
That's petty.
Yeah, that's just petty for petty's sake. So.
Real quick thing about All-Star games, just in all four general. Yes or no? All teams should be represented in the All-Star game.
No.
Okay, we're all in line. No. I think the best players should be in an All-Star game.
Yeah.
Should fan voting determine the starters?
No.
There has to be criteria.
You had Fernando Tatis was at one point like the number one All-Star voted on, and he hasn't played
again. Yeah.
There you go. You got to put in criteria.
So like,
no.
Fans are just trolls.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Popularity contest.
Popularity contest. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else for final thoughts? You guys got anything? No.
Nope. Good.
All right. This week's quote of the week. I saw this tweet, and it was from Lindsay Dorado. So for those of you who know who Lindsay is, was signed with WWE, has since left the company and is out there doing his stuff. He put out, "I keep my circle small as shit. I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies."
Real talk.
Give me that.
4 quarters than 100 pennies. Don't go out there telling your business to anybody and everybody. All right. With that being said, thanks for tuning in this week. Hit us up. Let us know what you like, didn't like, what we got right, what we got wrong. Enjoy the ROH pay-per-view. Whatever else you guys got going on the rest of the weekend. And for the 4 of us here, I'm a Mark, you're a Mark, tell a Mark. And until next time, y'all can catch us around the way.